Welcome back to a new episode of turning this BMW E28 into a reliable daily driver. After we fixed the engine, we spent the whole last episode cleaning this car inside out and making it shine again. Now it drives great, but there's still a lot of things to do. In this episode, we will change the engine oil again, change the gearbox oil, change the diff oil, and then you're gonna see me learn how to weld. This engine oil was actually just a few kilometers old. But since we changed it after rebuilding the head, and after there was a lot of coolant in the oil, I thought it would be a good idea just to change it again. Since I have no documentation that tells me when this gearbox oil was last changed, I thought it would be a good idea just to change it for the peace of mind. And as always with these things, loosen the fill screw first before you're trying to mess with the drain screw. Just like the transmission, I have no record of this diff oil ever being changed, so I thought it would be better just to do it. One more thing that is in desperate need for a change is this shift knob. After hanging on for its dear life, it finally broke off. Time for a new one. And now, time for the big job. This trunk has been wet ever since we got the car. And since we are planning to put in new carpet, we have to definitely address this first. There are also a lot of small and big rust problems in this trunk. Some we will address now, some a little bit later. First though, I want to get rid of all this old glue residue. Tried it with this glue removing wheel on the drill first, but that didn't yield so much good results, so it was time to switch to chemicals. This cleaner definitely attacks the paint, but since I have planned to give the whole trunk a new coat of paint anyways, I didn't have to be so careful. And here we see the main problem. The trunk gasket has split and is letting in water in multiple spots. It's definitely time for a new one. This old glue was a pain in the ass. I have no idea how somebody is supposed to get it off without scratching the paint and then having to do a repaint. And as you can see here, I quickly had to learn that just changing out the gasket is not gonna cut it. The edge where the gasket goes is completely rusted through, at least in 2 spots. So since I knew I had to repaint this edge anyways, time to get out the bigger tools. After grinding off all the surface rust, I gave the whole trunk a good clean and scrub. This is not to get off only the old grime and dirt, but also to scuff up the paint in order to repaint it later. Next, all spots with exposed metal got some rust treatment. This is probably not gonna hold forever. There's still rust in between these metal pieces, but simply there's no way of getting it out. After the rust treatment had some time to cure, I mixed up some 2K epoxy primer to cover all the areas I have worked on. And of course, I can't just paint over the rust holes and stick on a new gasket. So I went out and bought my first welding machine. And while I have never welded in my life before, I have studied quite a lot at YouTube University. So let's see how this goes. And yes, this is me, still trying to figure out which cable goes where. Yes, I got startled by my first weld. So I kept on practicing to get ready for my first real weld on the car. So after a lot of measuring, cutting, grinding and hammering, I was finally ready to weld in my first repair patch. Perfect? No, far from it, but I allowed myself to be a little bit proud of my first patch panel. And after a bit of painting, it was time for the next one, which admittedly was a lot harder. And because I managed to cut this piece out very much not straight, I had to reconstruct it out of many small pieces. This is far from perfect, but much better than before. So again, all that's left is a coat of epoxy primer, and then I can get everything ready for new white paint. And no, it's not a good idea to paint your car in your garage when it's around 10 degrees Celsius outside and your garage isn't heated. While most areas went okay, I had some pretty heavy runs on the vertical areas, so these have to be addressed again in the future. After letting the paint dry for a few days, it was time to glue in the new gasket. So, hi, please excuse the very abrupt ending to the last scene, but turns out I accidentally deleted some of the footage. So, yeah, couldn't show you the finished result, but this is me a few months later, now showing how it looks like. So, and there's actually not that much for you to see because we have since installed the new carpet. Yeah, original carpet was pretty rotted out. Couldn't find an original one, so this is what we did. Super thin plywood, put some new fabric on top, and yeah, I really like how it looks like. Also installed a small boombox. I had quite a lot of problems with this new gasket. Yeah, it became loose in a couple of points. So it came loose in multiple spots shortly after install. I don't know what was wrong. Maybe it was too cold when we glued it in, but I had to glue it in a couple of more times. Now it seems to be holding up a little bit better, but yeah, now I have a lot of ugly glue residue. It's a pain in the ass to get rid of, but yeah, I'm going to tackle that at some point. Thank you very much for sticking around and see you next time.